By the end of this video, your brain will have been bought, sold, and resold using a number that has nothing to do with anything. Here's the setup. I'm going to spin a wheel in front of you. The wheel goes from 1 to 100. The wheel is rigged, but you don't know that. It lands on 10, or 65. Pick one. Then I ask you a question that has absolutely nothing to do with the wheel. I ask, what percentage of countries in the United Nations are African nations? If your wheel landed on 10, your answer will skew low. If it landed on 65, your answer will skew high. You don't know it's happening. You think you're thinking. You are not thinking. You are being anchored. This is the single most useful psychology trick that other people use against you, constantly. By minute 8 of this video, you'll know exactly where it's running on you. The car dealership, the menu at dinner, your last salary number, the price on the box at the store, the was now tag at checkout, all of it. And once you see it, you don't get to stop seeing it. That's the catch. The trick keeps working even after you understand it. But understanding gives you one tiny weapon. And that weapon is enough to claw back a measurable amount of the money, the time, and the decisions that have been quietly stolen from you for years. Most of how we think about decisions assumes a clean version of you. Clean you sees a price. Clean you compares it to the actual value of the thing. Clean you decides. Clean you, the theory goes, looks at a $60,000 car and asks, is this car worth $60,000 to me, given my needs, my budget, and the going market rate? Clean you does not exist. What actually exists is a brain that desperately needs a starting point. Any starting point. Even one that's completely made up. When you have to estimate something, a price, a probability, a number of anything, your brain does not start from zero and build up. It starts from whatever number was nearby, and then it nudges from there. A little up, a little down. But mostly, it stays close to the nearby number. The nearby number is the anchor. It can be relevant. It can be irrelevant. Your brain doesn't check. And this would just be a quirky brain bug, except it's been quietly running the largest industries on Earth for 50 years. In 1974, two psychologists published one of the most important papers in the history of decision science. The psychologists were Amos Tversky and Daniel Kahneman. The paper was called Judgment Under Uncertainty, Heuristics and Biases. Inside that paper was a tiny experiment that, honestly, broke economics. The setup was almost insultingly simple. They sat people down in front of a wheel of fortune. The wheel had numbers on it from 1 to 100. What the subjects did not know, and this is the trick, was that the wheel was secretly rigged to stop on only two numbers, either 10 or 65. Half the subjects got a low number, half got a high number. The wheel itself was a prop. The subjects believed they were watching chance. They were watching a hand on a hidden lever. The subjects watched the wheel spin. They watched it stop. They saw their number, 10 or 65. Then, and this is the part that sounds like a joke, the researchers asked them a totally unrelated question. What percentage of the member nations in the United Nations are African? That's it. That's the question. Nothing to do with wheels, nothing to do with fortune, just, geography. But the subjects who saw the wheel land on 10 gave low estimates. Their guesses for the percentage of African UN nations skewed small. And the subjects who saw the wheel land on 65 gave high estimates. Their guesses skewed big. The published group medians were 25% for the 10 anchor group and 45% for the 65 anchor group. Same question, same people, same room. The only thing that changed was what number had just gone past their eyeballs. A number from a rigged wheel of fortune was warping the subjects' best guesses about international geography, and the subjects had no idea. That experiment is the founding document of every car salesman's playbook ever written. Here's the mechanism, because it's honestly elegant in a creepy way. When your brain has to estimate something it doesn't actually know, a price, a probability, a number, it does not generate that number from scratch. Generating numbers from scratch is metabolically expensive. Your brain runs on glucose. Glucose is precious. So your brain takes shortcuts. It looks around the environment for any number that might be relevant, grabs the closest one, and uses it as a launching pad. The shortcut is find the nearest number. Use that as the starting point. Adjust from there. The catch, and Tversky and Kahneman demonstrated this repeatedly, is that the adjustment your brain makes is almost always too small. Your brain finds the anchor, nudges a little, calls it a day, goes back to thinking about lunch. The anchor stays as a kind of gravity well around your estimate, and no matter how hard you adjust, you orbit it. And the kicker, the part that makes anchoring genuinely unfair, is that it works even when you know the anchor is meaningless. Researchers have replicated this with judges. They've replicated it with experienced real estate agents. They've replicated it with statisticians. There's a 2006 study by English, Musweiler, and Strack, where German trial judges rolled dice, actual dice, before recommending a prison sentence in a hypothetical case. The dice were loaded. Judges who rolled higher numbers recommended longer sentences. Trained judges. Sentencing decisions. Anchored to dice. If trained judges can be moved by a literal pair of dice, you can be moved by anything. The menu at a restaurant. You sit down. You open the menu. The first thing you see is the $98 tomahawk steak. You are not going to order the tomahawk. The tomahawk is not for you. The tomahawk is for one guy named Brad, who comes in twice a year. The tomahawk is on the menu, so that when you see the $42 pasta 2 pages later, your brain goes, oh, reasonable. That's the entire point of the tomahawk's existence. It's a decoy. A high-end menu item whose only job is to make every other price on the menu feel like a polite suggestion. You just got anchored. $42 for pasta is not reasonable. The $98 steak made it reasonable. The list price on a house. The listing price is the anchor. Every offer you make, every counter your agent considers, every comparable you check, they all swirl around that initial list price. If the seller listed $100,000 higher, your offer would also be higher, even if the house hasn't changed. Same square footage, same neighborhood, same leaky upstairs bathroom, just a different number on the sign. The starting price on a used car. That sticker is not what the car is worth. That sticker is the anchor the dealership wants you to negotiate down from. You will haggle $1,000 off. You will feel like you won. You did not win. The dealer picked the anchor. The dealer is fine. Your salary. This is the big one. In a salary negotiation, the first number on the table, yours or theirs, becomes the anchor that the rest of the conversation drifts around. Studies on negotiation outcomes have found that the side that opens with a credible number tends to capture a larger share of the final deal. Not because they're tougher, because they got there first. This is why every negotiation guide ever written tells you the same thing. Name your number first. Name it high. Name it before they do. Because if they name their number first, you're already anchored. The whole rest of the conversation is just you nudging from their starting point. The original price on a Black Friday tag. The MSRP on anything you buy on Amazon. The starting bid on an auction. The first month free subscription page. Once you see the trick, you cannot unsee it. It's in everything. Every price, every offer, every negotiation, every restaurant, every store, every salary letter. You can't turn off anchoring. It's hardware. But you can do 3 things that, in combination, actually work. 1. Do your own research before you see their number. If you're buying a car, know the fair market value before you walk on the lot. If you're negotiating a salary, know the range for that role in that city before they ask. If you're house hunting, decide your top number before you see the listing. If you're shopping a big-ticket item, write down what you're willing to pay before opening the website. Pre-commit the number to paper. Make your past self argue with your present self before any salesperson gets a chance. The anchor only works if it gets in your head first. Beat it there. 2. When you can, throw the first number yourself. In any negotiation where you have leverage, name the anchor. Make it ambitious. Make the other person nudge down from your number instead of you nudging up from theirs. 3. When someone hits you with an anchor you can feel, name it out loud. Not to them, to yourself. Mentally narrate it. Okay, the sticker is $29,000. That's the anchor. The actual fair market value for this car, year, mileage is 22. I'm negotiating from 22, not 29. The act of naming the anchor weakens it. Not all the way, but measurably. Research on debiasing has shown that explicit awareness of an anchor reduces but does not eliminate its pull. You will still be anchored, just less. And here's the thing, the deepest move, the move that almost no one makes. Walk away from negotiations where the other side controls the anchor and you have no information. Salary offers you didn't research? Cars on a lot where you didn't check Kelley Blue Book? Houses where you toured before deciding your max? Anytime someone's number got into your head before yours did, you've already lost a little. You don't have to win every transaction. You just have to stop letting random numbers, wheel spins, dice rolls, list prices, fake MSRPs, decoy stakes, suspiciously crossed out original prices, set the terms of your judgment. The number is not neutral. The number was placed there by someone who studied this exact effect and decided you would behave predictably around it. Because the wild thing about Tversky and Kahneman's experiment in 1974 isn't that people got the answer wrong about African nations. It's that the people didn't know they were being moved at all. They thought they were thinking. They were being pulled. So next time you see a price, an offer, a salary number, a starting bid, a was now sale tag, pause. Ask one question. Where did that number come from? And does it have any business being in my head? Most of the time, the answer is no. And the second you can name it, the anchor gets a lot lighter. Curious which other invisible mental shortcut is running you right now? Subscribe. Monday we open the door on one you use every single time you open your phone.